Welcome back to the channel, and in today's Blender tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this relatively realistic checkerboard wood material in Blender. This is 100% procedural, and this shader ball here, I'm going to be providing it for free so you can follow along with the exact same sort of lighting and scene setup. So I'll quickly show you. This here is the node setup, and it's pretty simple for the amount of control we have and for what it actually looks like. But this is a good entry-level checkerboard material that you could use for something like a chessboard or a floor or something. So if you want to learn how to make this, keep watching the tutorial. I'll go step by step. This is pretty beginner friendly, so let's jump into it. So first of all, if you want to follow along with the exact same scene file, you can download in the description below for free one of my shader balls. All you have to do is type in 0 and then just download it. Or you can just use your own scene file, whatever you want to work with. When you open it up, it's going to look like this, and what you're going to do is you're going to select it and you're going to go into your shading workspace, and now you have a nice little setup ready to go. So with the shader ball selected, I'm going to press Z, I'm going to go into rendered view, and this has no material, so I'm going to click new to create a material, and I'm going to call it checkerboard, like so. And now we just have our default principled shader here. I'm going to drag this up a little bit so we have a bit more space. So the first thing we're going to create is our wood grain texture. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to grab this base color, click and drag it, and then let go. And then we're going to type in noise and get a noise texture. Make sure not to get the white noise. We just want a noise texture, like so. We're going to come here to the scale and make it free, like that. And what we're going to do as well is we're going to go Shift A. We're going to click search and type in mapping. Get a mapping node and then plug this vector into the vector of the noise texture. And then over here, we're going to go Shift A, search, and get a texture space, and then type in coordinate and get a texture coordinate, and plug the object into the vector here, like so. There we go. So now we have that a way of mapping this. And we're going to come here and make this 22 on the Z to kind of make it elongated and stretched. And we'll leave these two values as 1. And what we're going to do, we're going to come over here to our detail and make it 5. I'm going to drag this roughness all the way up to 1, like so. But right now it's very, there's not a lot of contrast. We're going to go Shift A, search, and type in color. And we're going to grab a color ramp and place it on this cable here. And then we're going to drag this value all the way up past the middle point to about here. And then drag this one down to about here. But we're going to make this darker with the value, like so. And what we're going to do to add color to this, because right now it's black, we're going to go Shift A, search, and we're going to type in mix RGB, or maybe just type in RGB. Okay, yeah, so we want the RGB here, sorry, place it over here. And we're going to go Shift A, search, and we're going to type in mix, and we're going to get the mix RGB here, and place the mix RGB on this cable here. And what we're going to do is we're going to plug this color from the RGB into the top socket and make sure that this color ramp is going into the bottom socket. And we're going to come here and just make it subtract. So where is that? Over here. And what we're going to do here, we can now come here and we're going to give this a nice dark brown color, make it a bit darker on the value, make it a bit more saturated. And now we have our wood texture here. To make this look even better, we're going to come grab this color ramp. We're going to go Shift A, search, type in bump, grab a bump node and then plug the color into that height, and then take that normal output from the bump and plug it into the normal of the principled BSDF. And then let's come to the strength and drag it down. And let's go something like that. You can always come here and slightly adjust these things here until you get something you like a little bit more. But this is more or less kind of the material we're going for. Now you're probably thinking this is not a checker material, and you're right. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these nodes here, including the principled shader, all of these except the material output. We're going to go Shift D, duplicate, and drag them down. And now we have a second wood material here. And let's just for now take this principled output and plug it into the surface of the material output so we can see this material here. Now it looks the exact same because it's just a duplication of the previous nodes. We're going to come here and make the value even darker, like so, and make it a bit more reddish brown. We're going to come here to this setup down here, and we're going to drag this down a little bit more. We're going to make it a bit lighter on the value and drag this up a bit more, like that. Now we have a dark wood here, and what we're going to do is we're going to drag the roughness down a little bit as well with this one,
And now we have our two woods. So we have this one and we have this one. So now we're going to go Shift A search. We're going to type in mix. We're going to get a mix shader and place it over here. And then both of these principal BSDFs are going to go into that. So one goes into the top socket and one into the bottom socket. So you can see we have this one and then we have this one here. So our wood at the top and wood at the bottom. We're now going to take this factor, and we could slide it either way to have 100% of this one or to 0 to have 100% of the lighter one. But what we're going to do, we're going to use a checker texture. So let's grab this factor here. Just grab the factor and drag the cable and then let go. And then you're going to type in checker, and you can get a checker texture. And already you can see this is kind of what we want roughly. But to have a bit more control, we're just going to come over here and just duplicate the texture coordinate and the mapping. So Shift D to duplicate them, drag them here, and then plug that vector into the vector here. And then make sure to come here to the scale and just make it 0.3 on all of these. Or maybe even 0.5. Okay, so 0.5 I think is good over here. And at the moment though, you can see that all the wood is the same direction. What if we made the darker wood a different grain direction? So the way we're going to do that is just to simply come down to our bottom wood material, the darker wood, whoops, this one here. And let's come to this mapping here for the scale. And let's make it 22 at the top and then 1 at the bottom. Like so. Now you can see these are running across from each other. And one more thing we're going to do to add some more contrast is just to take this output from the color of the checker texture and plug it into the displacement of the material output, like so. Now you can see we have a little bit of this kind of like parting happening here, which looks a lot more realistic. There's a lot of things you could do with this, but I'm going to leave it at this. I'm going to quickly just go to the world settings and just rotate that sun a little bit, just till it looks a little bit better. And I might just increase the strength on this light over here, make it a little bit more powerful. But you guys get the idea here. This is what we're making. So let's quickly save and let's go render and give this a test render. And there we have it. This is our wooden material. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and definitely play around with it. I think it looks okay for the amount of effort that went into it. But if you guys wanted to spend more time on it, you can definitely do it. I think it kind of looks realistic with, like, it looks like kind of like some wood veneer that has been roughly sanded and then overlaid with some clear coat. But this is a really simple tutorial. I will be uploading my final result to Patreon, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you next time.